Bejeweled is the grandfather of all puzzle games we see today. Candy Crush, Toon Blast, and all the countless other clones all trace their roots back to Bejeweled. With the game nearing its 25th anniversary, it's worth looking back at the first title developed under Sexy Action Cool's rebrand of PopCap Games. Before I get into it, I'd like to give a special thank you to my channel members, GrizzyBeck74, Blocky Bite, Leffian Arts, and DJ Pinzin. Thank you to everyone that subscribed and continued to watch me. Let's continue now. Bejeweled originally started as a Diamond Mine, a Java-based game released in 2000. PopCap Games struck a deal with Microsoft to host the game, but only under the condition that they change its name. Microsoft feared the title Diamond Mine was too similar to an older game called Diamond Mines. They proposed the name Bejeweled, which PopCap reluctantly accepted. Initially they didn't like the name, but it grew on them over time. With a steady $1,500 monthly income from their partnership with Microsoft, PopCap devoted resources to improving the game for a retail release, which launched a year later in 2001. Bejeweled quickly took off, boasting over 20,000 concurrent players, a significant number for web gaming at the time. Early on, PopCap tried selling the game to Microsoft for $50,000, but the offer was rejected. Instead, PopCap doubled down on their creation and struck a deal granting them full control of the game. In return, Microsoft gained rights to create branded Bejeweled variants, leading to some bizarre clones featuring companies like Tyson Chicken. Bejeweled is as basic gets for match-3 puzzle games. Being the genre's grandfather, many features we now consider standard were only introduced in later sequels. 4 years later, we were introduced to special gems in Bejeweled 2, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. For starters, the menu is unconventional, or rather non-existent. Clicking play throws you directly into the classic game. Essential features like changing the game mode, opening settings, or getting hints are all accessed via a sidebar on the left side of the screen. It's so primitive that a main menu doesn't exist. Since power-ups weren't thought of yet, matches of 4 or more gems only grant extra points. Like many early PopCap games, Bejeweled leans into its arcade roots, encouraging you to play as long as possible and trying to outdo your high score. In Classic Mode, the goal is to keep making matches to avoid running out of moves. Each match fills a progress bar, when full, levels you up. Leveling up increases your score multiplier, changes the background color, and sometimes adds new textures. So if you were low on possible moves previously, a level up can be a breath of fresh air. In Time Trial, this mode introduces a timer that drains over time, making matches briefly replenish the timer. Your goal is to level up by filling up the progress bar as quickly as possible, with each level becoming more challenging. It's impossible to run out of moves because the board will regenerate itself if that happens. The art style of Bejeweled screams early 2000s. While the visuals are low resolution, they're still appealing and unique. The biggest drawback, however, is the resolution. Unless you play in full screen, which scales everything up to fit your monitor, the game is confined to a small window. It's not unplayable, but nobody prefers to play games like this. The game's music, composed by Skaven, doesn't include an original soundtrack. Instead, PopCap used pre-existing songs Skaven had composed: Autonomous, Loading Screen, Network, Classic Mode, and Data Jack for Time Trial. These songs are created using a format known as tracker music. Tracker music is a method of digital music that originated in the late 1980s and became popular in the demo scene in early PC gaming. Unlike traditional audio formats like MP3 or WAV, tracker music does not store a continuous audio waveform. Instead, it uses small sound samples and instructions for how to play them, similar to sheet music. This approach makes tracker music incredibly lightweight, which is crucial for games in the era of limited storage and processing power. Tracker music is composed in software called trackers. These programs organize music into patterns of tracks, which are essentially grids of notes, effects, and playback commands. Each track corresponds to a specific instrument or sound sample. Composers manually input the pitch, duration, volume, and effects for each note, allowing for precise control over the final sound. A key feature of tracker music is its reliance on looping and layering small samples. These samples could be anything from synthesized tones to snippets of recorded instruments. This technique allowed composers to create soundscapes without requiring much memory. It also gave tracker music a distinct, slightly mechanical sound. Skaven himself is known in the demo scene for his long history and wide variety of tracker music. In my PopCap retrospectives, I usually try to answer the question, are you missing out by not playing this game? And my answer for Bejeweled mostly sides with yes. It ultimately comes down to what you want from the game. Bejeweled isn't a traditional franchise with a defined endpoint or clear objectives to work towards. It's more like a snack, something quick and satisfying to kill time with while matching gems. If you're looking for a game with structured goals, Bejeweled probably isn't for you. But if you want something simple, easy to jump into, and endlessly replayable, then Bejeweled might just be the thing. That being said, the first Bejeweled is incredibly bare bones. Later sequels introduce mechanics that become staples of the genre, which make them much more compelling to play today. While there's no reason to play the original over its successors, it remains a time capsule of what PopCap was doing 25 years ago, and it's a nice experience to see Bejeweled and PopCap grow with each entry. So is it worth playing? I'd say yes. There's still fun to be had in Bejeweled. It's just a simpler experience compared to its modern counterparts.